everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this True Reviews today. Sorry it's taking me so long to get this review out for Wonder Woman, but I wanted to take a little bit of time because I really wanted to think about this movie a lot, and I also wanted to be able to give you guys time to see it so we could talk spoilers, because some of the things that I wanted to talk about, especially those things that I didn't like as much, had to do with spoilers. So today we're going to be talking about Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was directed by Patty Jenkins, and its opening weekend made $100 million in the U.S. and was the most successful opening for a live-action movie directed by a woman ever, and has now made $438.5 million in the U.S. and is the most successful box office run by any female director for a live-action movie. So Wonder Woman has been doing extremely well. It's sitting at a solid 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Out of about 250 reviews. And just real quick, just so you guys are aware of the percentage on Rotten Tomatoes, a 93% doesn't mean that critics have given this movie a 93% out of 100. It means that out of those 250 reviews, 93% of the critics gave it like a 6 out of 10 or more, basically meaning that 93% of those people liked it. And I am one of those people. I did really enjoy Wonder Woman. I thought Gal Gadot, who was one of the best parts of Batman v Superman last year, came back again and just destroyed this role. I felt like she was super funny. She was smart. She looked really good. Her costume was awesome. It was really colorful, much more so than at least in Batman v Superman. I loved the world of Themyscira, which is Wonder Woman's home world. The whole opening 20-30 minutes takes place there, and I loved it. It was super bright, very colorful, kind of this tropical Grecian-looking place, and it looked awesome. I loved being able to see all that color in this, what has been this sort of dark and dreary DC universe that they have going on. So it was great to see all that color, and I loved Gal Gadot and Chris Pine, their chemistry. I thought they did really well together. Chris Pine always just kind of plays a different version of himself, but he did really well in this movie. I thought he and Gal Gadot had really great chemistry and that they worked well together. You definitely believed that in their characters, especially in Wonder Woman, you really believed that it was her, that she was able to be that physical and was able to do those things that she did in the film. The one scene I think of in particular was the No Man's Land scene, which, if you'll remember, is the part where Wonder Woman crosses the battlefield and then her and the army behind her come and free up this village. And that whole sequence was just incredible. One of the best action sequences in a superhero movie today. I thought it was so enjoyable. You have that Wonder Woman theme coming in strong that was introduced in Batman v Superman by Hans Zimmer that's just super memorable. And that was playing throughout that sequence. And you had Wonder Woman diving and cutting guys down left and right. And it was awesome to see her, and it was very believable. The use of slow-mo was really epic, and that scene in particular was awesome. I thought Wonder Woman had a really good origin story. This was her first live-action movie. It does get bogged down by the fact that it is an origin story, so there's a lot of explaining, which makes sense because this is Wonder Woman's first live-action movie, so it would make sense that we need to kind of establish where Wonder Woman is from and her background. And it was told in a very interesting way. In the opening, we learn about the reason why Wonder Woman's people exist, the Amazons. We learn about their creation and why they're here on the Earth through this kind of cool art, like watercolor painting sequence. It's really, really impressive and really imaginative. I also thought Wonder Woman had really great action. Like I said, that No Man's Land sequence was super impressive. The opening battle with the Amazons versus those German soldiers was really great as well. It was awesome seeing all those women just flipping about and kicking butt and stuff like that. It was really great. My one problem with, my problems with Wonder Woman, though, all come in the third act. I thought the first and second act were really great. We got really good introductions to Wonder Woman and her people and the reason why she wants to be a part, why she wants to leave her home world and join into this war, and her motivations and things like that were really great. But the third act really suffers. And this is where we'll get into spoilers. As we learn in the third act who the true villain is, that reveal was not very shocking. In fact, Savannah called it like right from the get-go. As soon as that character was introduced, she was like, oh, I bet you he's the villain. And the other twist of that Wonder Woman herself is the God Killer, that there was no actual God Killer weapon, but that she was the God Killer. Savannah also called that like very early on in the movie. She asks if she can see the God Killer, and they're like hesitate to answer her. And Savannah leaned over to me. She was like, I bet you she's the God Killer. So not like the twists weren't very effective, I guess, which is fine. It was whatever. It wasn't that big a deal. But the biggest problem was the third act fight between Wonder Woman and Ares was just so typical. It was very third act superhero typical of the hero facing this just massive CGI character where there's flames and there's metal flying everywhere. There's people getting thrown about and stuff like that, and it was fine. I just was really wanting something more because the first two acts had been so enjoyable that I was really wanting something different in the third act, which was very disappointing for me. But I'm very excited for the future of Wonder Woman. I'm excited to see her in Justice League. I think Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, I'm not actually sure how you pronounce it, but I think she has really embodied this character very well, and I'm excited to see what she does in Justice League and in future installments of the Wonder Woman franchise. I was very pleased with this movie, and I really hope that we see some changes happening within the Marvel and the DC movie universes, that we start to see some new ideas coming into these movies, because they're starting to get a little stagnant, and I'm really hoping we start to see some more new stuff. And I felt like Wonder Woman delivered it in the first two acts, but fell a little flat in the third act. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Wonder Woman, and again, if you haven't seen it, I definitely encourage you to see it, just so that you can be a part of this very culturally significant moment. And so I will give Wonder Woman an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys again so much for clicking on this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. You can click that bell down there at the bottom underneath this video, and that will actually give you a notification every time that I post a video. And look forward as we're coming into summertime. I'm not going to be seeing a whole lot of movies for the next couple weeks as I'm wrapped up in school, but I'm going to be reviewing some older movies of mine that I really, really like, and I want more people to see. So be sure to look out for that. And of course, we have Spider-Man Homecoming coming up at the beginning of July. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time.